For my cultural analysis project, I have chosen to examine the genre of rap, specifically looking to prove that rap has its own cultural significance. First, let's take a look at what culture is. In our class discussions, we have gained a sense of what culture means. We've learned that it's implicit and explicit patterns of meanings, practices, and artifacts in which people are engaged, and that these patterns guide their behavior and create and maintain similar behaviors and rules that help dictate what is meaningful to a culture. Let's first look at practices within a culture. Practices are more than behavior. They are acts of many individuals that create meaning in our culture. Marcus and Hamadami list several examples, including self-esteem maintenance. Looking and understanding self-esteem maintenance is important when considering rap as a culture. Now let's talk about patterns. Marcus and Hamadami know that patterns are an important part of understanding cultures. And Tyrandis says that cross-cultural psychologists tend to study patterns or attributes of culture that do not change much over time. Now let's look at meanings. Meanings are conventional and publicly expressed beliefs that vary amongst cultures. Meanings can often be viewed through practices and artifacts. So in understanding patterns, meanings, and practices that are part of a culture, is it possible that rap could be considered a culture? In fact, what do rappers like Drake, Nas, and Chuck D know about culture? To decide if rap can be considered a culture, let's analyze it in regards to patterns, practices, and meanings. In the song 0 to 100 by Drake, we can see a sense of meaning within the lyrics of the song. Drake says, "They be on that rap to pay the bill shit, and I don't feel that shit, not even a little bit. Oh Lord, know yourself, know your worth." It is clear when Drake is saying these words that he is showing a strong sense of pride. Strong sense of pride is an important cultural value in Western culture, and specifically in African American culture. Many people within this culture do not like to admit that they need help. We can see an example of a cultural practice within the same song. In the song 0 to 100, Drake says, "Maybe I keep moving forward and they're just stagnant. They ain't moving at all." Drake is expressing the desire to make progress. This is a common cultural practice in Western culture. In the same song, Drake says, "All up in my phone looking at pictures from the other night. She gonna be upset if she keeps scrolling to the left, dog. She gonna see some shit that she don't want to see. She ain't ready for it." Is this a common social worry? When I read these lyrics, I thought about the meme, "If I show you a picture on my phone, don't swipe left, don't swipe right, just look." And I thought, if there is a meme, this has to be a common practice, a common cultural worry. So I did a little research and I found that in 1976, Richard Dawkins defined a meme as a package of culture. In pre-internet times, this meant things like regional sayings, fashion, and architecture were memes. And these were styles, concepts, and behaviors that were infinitely replicable and spread out to other cultures from the point of origin. Now let's talk about rap as a function of culture. Within our readings, Kat said that the value expressive function allows people to derive pleasure by expressing their basic functions, and that values are a central element of culture that provide guidance in life. Katz also states that the adjustment function allows people in the course of interaction with the environment to maximize the rewards and minimize the penalties. Let's look for examples of value expressive function and adjustment function within rap music. In the song 0 to 100 by Drake, Drake says, "He ain't shown up. Valuable lesson, man, I had to grow up." When Drake is speaking about the fact that his dad wasn't someone he could count on, Drake is using a value expressive function because it provides guidance to his life. In the same song, Drake says, "You know that if it wasn't you, you would be dissing you, dog." This is an example of adjustment function. Drake is trying to maximize the rewards and minimize the penalty. It is common for people to view themselves differently than they view others. This is a common perspective in Western culture. We also read about this same idea in Nicholas Epley's Mindwise. This can also be seen in the song If I Ruled the World by Nas. Nas says, imagine smoking weed in the streets without cops harassing. Imagine going to court with no trial. This is another example of adjustment function. Nas is trying to minimize the penalty for his own behaviors. Now let's talk about rap as a cultural artifact. Chuck D is a part of the American hip-hop group Public Enemy, and when he spoke about rap, he said that rap for Black America was like CNN. He said at the time, when he turned on the TV, there was no representation of his life on TV because there were no serious Black shows about Black life. But he felt that rap music changed that for him. He said that rap changed all that. In the music, I saw my friends and family. Rap music at this point had represented a culture that he did not feel was represented before. He could relate to it and it had meaning for him. Now let's speak specifically about rap going commercial. Many years after the initial Chuck D interview, he was asked if he still believed that rap for Black America was the same as CNN for white America. And he changed his reply. He said at that point in time, rap was relatable and part of the culture for anyone 25 and under. It was no longer a representation of just Black America, but for youth. Sprite chose to place quotes from lyrics of rap songs on the cans of their soda. Upon first glance, these quotes seem uplifting and inspirational and a good representation for the company. Upon further analysis of the lyrics of the songs as a whole, one may wonder why would Sprite choose to use such lyrics to represent their company? In fact, why would Sprite use these rappers and their questionable lyrics to represent their product? This became clearer to me after viewing one of the campaign videos produced by Sprite. In this video, I was able to see how these rappers represent the cultural values and practices of Western culture through the music they make and the lives that they live. All of these musicians represent hard work, taking care and looking after yourself, and a sense of pride. Now let's switch our focus from culture to the role of self within culture. When discussing the role of self in culture, there are two modes of being. Kitayama, Duffy, and Yuchitis speak of independent and interdependent modes of being. The independent mode of being exercises primary control, and the interdependent exercises secondary control. When culture emphasizes independent, goal-oriented, instrumental practices and ideas in organizing social relations, one's predominant form of action tends to be the use of his or her own goals, desires, judgments, and other internal attributes in an effort to cause changes in the environment. This is known as independent mode of being. When focusing on the rap genre of music and looking for examples of independent mode, it was clear to find examples of this. In Drake's song Tuscan Leather, he says, "Fuck what you think, I'm too busy." This is a perfect example of independent mode. When we are functioning within independent mode, we are thinking of ourselves and only what the world means to us, not necessarily taking into account what everyone else may need. There's yet another example of this in the same song. Drake says, "You don't have to prove shit to no one except yourself." This is another example of independent mode. When culture emphasizes interdependent, other-oriented communal practices and ideas in organizing social relations, one's predominant form of action tends to be the consideration of expectations, desires, and needs of others in an effort to adjust one's own actions to the intentional states attributed to others. This is known as interdependent mode of being. When looking to analyze rap songs for interdependent mode, Drake talks about this in his song Tuscan Leather. He says, "I'll compromise if I have to. I gotta stay with the family. Not even talking to Nikki, communication is breaking." He's sitting here thinking about his life, and even though things are stressful, he knows that if he needs to, he'll be there for his family. He also says, "Think that's why I need her in my life, to check me when I'm trippin', on a mission trying to shift the culture." Drake is speaking about the fact that he knows he needs other people in his life to keep him in check and in balance. Another example of interdependent mode can be seen in the same song by Drake. He says, "Trying to get my karma up, fuck the guilty and greedy shit." He's thinking about his relationship with other people and he's having feelings of guilt and greed. With those feelings lets us know that he is viewing his relationships with others and taking into consideration their feelings and the needs that they have. Now let's talk about individual psychological concepts that play a role in rap music, specifically control and motivation. In our readings, we read about control. People do not often attempt to gain control by influencing existing realities, often via acts involving personal agency, dominance, or even aggression. We're going to see that aggression play a role in the rap songs that I analyzed. Many times rap songs are known for their aggressive lyrics, and rap music as a whole is known for its aggression. Often this aggression is directed towards politicians or politics, and sometimes to the environment in which the rapper lives. In the song "Show Me What You Got" by Public Enemy, there is clear aggression throughout the lyrics of the song. In the last two stanzas, it says, "See you running like roaches, black gangstas need check coaches. The white law sets you up raw when you have his trust in killing us." This song has many aggressive lyrics that show the sense of control that the rapper is aiming to have. Another example of control within rap music can be found in the song "Juicy" by Notorious B.I.G. Within this song, Biggie is saying that he has everything under control, that he's got a handle on his life. His lyrics make this clear. He starts off the song by saying, "Yeah, this album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I'd never amount to nothing." He's letting the world know that even though people didn't think he would become much in life, that he's got a handle on it and he's achieved. Another psychological concept within rap music is motivation. When we read about motivation, we read that Westerners apparently have a strong need to view themselves in positive terms, and that Westerners use a variety of compensatory self-protective responses that are illicit when people encounter threats to their self-esteem. This can be seen throughout rap music. One example where motivation is seen is in the song "Juicy" by Notorious B.I.G. Biggie says, "Don't let them hold you down, reach for the stars." He's clearly showing that he holds a motivation. Another example of motivation in rap music can be seen in 0 to 100 by Drake. Drake says, "Fuck all that Drake you gotta chill shit, I be on my little mouse drill shit. Fuck all that rap to pay your bill shit, yeah I'm on some Raptors paid my bill shit." When I first read these lyrics, I didn't quite understand what Drake meant, but after watching the campaign that was produced by Sprite, I was able to get a better sense of what Drake meant. Drake feels very passionate about being more than just a rapper. He believes that it's not enough to just be a musician these days, you need to be the complete package. And he works and stays very motivated to keep endorsements that help him feel that he is successful. Through the implicit and explicit behaviors of artists like Drake, it is easy to see that these artists often represent and produce artifacts that are meaningful to the culture and world in which they live. After careful analysis of the role of culture, the role of self in culture, and the role of psychological concepts in culture, it is clear to see that rap is indeed its own culture.